All right, Stephan.
Hey, how are you?
Stephan, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Florida originally.
What part?
Northwest of Tampa, anywhere up and down 19, basically.
Okay. Yeah. And tell me about your childhood. You had both your parents when you were young?
As most people do, I had both parents when I was young. They split when I was about 3 years old.
And you stayed with?
My mother, but my dad's always been a huge part of my life. He's very loving, supporting, but my mother was more chaotic, if you will. But I lived with her most of my life.
How would you describe your childhood?
There was one point where I described it as, it's just, it wasn't great. It was like anybody else's, but now I realize there's with some evolution, I realized there's definitely trauma. I had a lot of trauma. Some sexual abuse. There was a lot of, not narcotics, but substance abuse among my mother and my stepfather. My stepfather was abusive, but also I have a big mentor. If that makes sense. And there's five of us. There's 5 siblings on my mother's side. I'm the only child on my dad's side. So I had a juxtaposition of the 2 experiences. Dad's every other weekend, mom's full time.
What kind of kid were you in high school?
Before I dropped out? I was lanky and awkward and bad skin, and I was self-loathing, and kind of hips, a lot of like indie pop rock, kind of that kind of deal, into music, also industrial, whatever, just very into music, and drama school, drama class, but I didn't actually ever perform for more than one play.
And you didn't make it out of high school?
I dropped out when I was 16, got my GED immediately, started college classes, did basically not great.
Where'd you go after 16?
I went to drug school. It's a thing where you just get high a lot and it becomes the main part of your life.
So drugs started for you at what age?
Probably 12, I dabbled with smoking weed and then maybe Xanax and alcohol when I was 13.
Is that because of your mom?
No, it's because of nobody else other than my older sister, probably. My older sister was a user, and we were best friends. And not then, at the time, she was treating me like an asshole, but we are now best friends. But it was her. She was the catalyst of my drug use. But it's not her fault. We all make our own decisions.
What drugs did you start with?
That's what I said. Weed, then Xanax, then alcohol. By the time I was 14, I ate ecstasy for the first time. And meth by 15, cocaine probably 16, opiates when I was probably 14 when I started going to the dentist. Started going to the dentist, have dental work done, and then opiates started, and then that was the downhill.
And today you're using what?
What's that?
Today you use what?
Who said I use drugs? I use crystal meth mostly. It used to be heroin. I've transitioned rather to full-time fentanyl smoking every 15 minutes, preferably. Crystal meth, it comes and goes. That's what I do now.
And no crack?
Once in a while, maybe once a month. But I'm one of the rare crack smokers who can pass it up. I'll hit it once and be no, I'm good, I don't need number 2, which is not often.
So after your teenage years, you went, what kind of stuff did you get into?
Okay, so I started working a lot, mostly with my stepdad. That was from 13 on. A lot of trade work. I started working in hospitality a little bit with my sister. She was server, I was dishwasher. And then odd jobs a little bit, mostly trade work. And then by the time I went from 18 to 19, I got Baker acted 4 times. I was full-time drug addict, fucking crack binges, opiates all the time. Roxy 30s were my heart and soul. Still, a little bit is. But the drug use was very, it's very, if you will, very normalized in my head. It was very it was innocent. Didn't seem like a bad thing between me, my mom, and my sister. The 3 of us would get high together. But then that's the answer you wanted.
And your 20s, you spent doing what?
20s I spent I got clean. I went to rehab at 19.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
32.
So all my 20s, virtually all my 20s, I was in recovery.
You were in program?
I was in the program. I had a great life. It was beautiful. I had great relationships, great jobs, hospitality, worked my way up from a housekeeper to assistant manager of a boutique hotel, bartended full time. I was a great bartender. I bartended in South Florida and Manhattan, San Francisco. But I relapsed at 24, I believe, for like 7 months. That almost ruined my life, and I got back together, and then I relapsed again at 28, and it just went downhill. I managed to finish some goals and do some quite good things in my life, and I'm proud of him. But now I'm miserable all the time.
You've been on Skid Row for how long?
I've been on Skid Row for 3 or 4 months. I've been street homeless for a year. I've been homeless for 2 years, about homeless 2 years, street homeless a full year, and I've gone across the country back and forth at least twice.
What brought you out to LA?
This was the first city I came to where I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go get clean, I'm going to rehab. I just came out here because my friend was like, hey, do you want to come stay with me? So I came to stay. I stayed with him for 2 days, and I was on the streets after that. Because not from him, he told me he wanted me to stay there, but I am on the run all the time. I'm running away from something, and I just can't stay anywhere for any length of time. So I just constantly need to leave. So the streets are what called me.
That's interesting. Have you ever seen a therapist?
Oh, when I was young, I was on Adderall when I was from 2nd grade or 3rd grade, maybe 4th on. So I was seeing a therapist then. I haven't seen a therapist since, but again, I was in recovery for 4 years twice, so a total of 8 years, all my 20s. So I definitely did a lot of self-work and like looked inward and like, but it wasn't with a therapist, it was with another recovering addict.
Mm-hmm. But if there was something that you suspect that you might be running from, what do you think that might be?
My mom died 2 years ago. I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry.
So you lost your mom?
Lost my mom 2 years ago. I was living in San Francisco at the time. I just moved. I just ran away from LA, from Manhattan, which is where I moved from after South Florida when I got my first and only arrest. Knock on wood. And I had graduated nursing school and was working full time as a bartender, making great money. I loved that job. I was there for 5 years. And then I was escorting part time just for fun because it was fun and I made money.
So escort. Tell me about escorting.
Sex has always been I've been like a sex addict my entire life. As long as I can remember, I've been like some kind of hidden sexual shit. So I think it was kind of apropos. I think I always knew I would use sex work of some kind, and it came into play when I tried to sell drugs unsuccessfully. I was a terrible drug dealer. My best friend got busted like within a week, and I was like, fuck this. How am I gonna make extra money? Working full time, mind you. I just needed more money for my drug use. I started escorting.
How'd that start for you? Did you meet
One-
somebody?
Yeah, I knew a lot of escorts. I lived in South Florida. Fort Lauderdale is like it's abundant with sex workers. So I had one tell me who I'd hung out with, who I was partying with. You are fucking. It's embarrassing to say this now, but he told me I was Kobe beef. He told me I was Kobe beef, and he said I was a whatever other grade. He told me I was a 450 caliber. That's what he said. Those were the words. You're $450 an hour. That's the words he said to me. So I was like, okay, yeah, I am. Okay. So
sex work in South Florida entails what?
I was a full-time, high-paid escort. Thank you very much. I did not have sexual acts. She got paid for my time. If something happened then between us, it was 2 adults consenting to have an intimate moment.
Male and male, female and male?
Oh, all male.
All male.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I came out when I was 15. I came out as soon as I realized I was gay. 15.
I didn't know you were gay.
Yeah. I'm a lady. And it's funny because on the outside, in my head, I think I'm a lady. I present like. I don't really think I'm a lady. I'm not like trans. I just like I think it's obvious I'm gay. Like but people often tell me, "Oh, I didn't know you were gay." Like it's a compliment. Not that you were doing that now. That's not what you're doing.
No, I just.
But like I'm like it's not a compliment. I'm just am who I am, and I'm gay, and I'm okay with it. And if you have a problem with it, fuck you. So that's how I feel about that. So I don't even think of it as an issue. So that's why I just didn't mention it.
Yeah. So back to like what you might be running from.
Oh, dead mom. So the 10 years that I was clean. We'll say not 10 years, 8 years, so I was clean, 4.5 years and 3.5 years. I didn't talk to my mother at all. she growing up, she was like a boss, like woman. She was like somebody to look up to. She was like store manager of like every possible store you'd think of, like Target, TJ Maxx. Oh, should we edit that out? We can't say that. I don't know. All these different stores. She was in any man in her life except like maybe one or two. She made more money then. She was like, but always working overtime. Like, I heard I love you from both my parents all the time, like constantly. Like, it was, my dad was like, you're the most important thing in the world. My mom was like, I love you, I love you, I love you. So we were really like close. Like I have that like affectionate personality because of that, and I owe that to them, and I'm grateful for that because it makes me see the world in a way of like, I think everybody. I literally have "I love you" tattooed to my chest. Like, I think everybody deserves. Like, we're all deserving of that. Sorry, I didn't talk to her 10 years because I was like self-righteous and like I was clean, and I thought that I was like, she needed to get clean and she wouldn't listen. My older sister went to prison. I 19, I went to rehab because I was the bad one because I kept trying to kill myself. Older sister, got clean. The two of them went downhill, started shooting up. Sister went to prison, found out she had Hep C. My mom had Hep C. I have a little 10-year younger sister. She's not little, she's 23 now. But in my mind, she's like, so she had a very different upbringing than we did because my mom was like, Christmas was always awesome. Like, she worked, like, we had the best stuff because she always worked at great stores. My little sister had this terrible experience. My mom was like shooting up and like a mess, and like she became this different person, and I couldn't relate to her anymore. So I didn't talk to her like the entire time because I was clean. Sorry, that's really hard to talk about. So
You're doing a great job.
Okay, I didn't need to hear that, but thanks. Yeah, thanks. I guess I feel like yeah.
No, just take a breath and.
Okay, thank you. I did okay. I need to hear that. You're right. So, didn't talk to my mom. Very little. Cards, birthday cards, whatever. I just wouldn't really respond as much because she wouldn't listen. She was an addict. I knew she was an addict. I knew there was a better way because I was happy. And yeah, I was happy, and I was like productive, and I was like a productive member of society. Like, I like learned self-esteem and like learned things about myself that I wish that she could have shared that she never could. And my sister got out of prison a couple times, moved in with me, and like the second time she finally got it together, and like the two of us were on top of the world for a long time. And my mom was still smoking bath salts at some point. I had custody of my little sister for a time, for a summer, really, not that long. And my sister, then older sister, got clean with me and broke up with my boyfriend that I had at the time, long term, who was a great love of my life, still is. I wish I had kept that relationship. He was there with me when I had custody of my little sister. Like, she lived in our second bedroom. Like, he was like, like what a great fucking person. Like, he was a saint. But anyways, I broke up with him. Little sister went home because my mom was doing better. Older sister moved back in, got clean finally, and the two of us were on top of the world. And like, that was probably the best time of my life. From like that 3.5 years I was clean. I got through nursing school, was on top of my class. And then I relapsed spring break before my internship. And I still managed to pass, barely. I passed my boards, didn't study because I was getting high the whole time and having a lot of random sex with a lot of random people because I had not experienced that as a teenage meth user. I had experienced that. I have a light bulb in a pull-behind trailer. That's not really the same as like sex, gay, party meth. Like, that comes when you're older and you look good. So that came, and I was like, it was a whole other story. So the sex addiction bloomed when I was sober because it was hidden and it was with random people, and then bloomed again when I was on drugs because it wasn't hidden and it was with random people. And now that I'm a total-time fentanyl user, I am asexual and have no sex at all. So it's an odd place to be in. Question.
So is this the lowest point of your life right now, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been through a lot.
Yeah.
What were the best time of your life?
When those 4 years I was clean.
When you were clean?
Yeah, right before nursing school, those were the best years of my life. Even any of the time I was clean, any time that I was like working and clean and like making these relationships, I had a bar guest pay for me to go to Cuba with 30 people. They were all like musicians. Can I have a tissue? Oh, you gave me a tissue. Let me join this. It was all like Broadway people, and like, so he just picked like a random ass bartender. Like, who does that? He had like, we all went to Havana, stayed at like the nicest hotel there, which, you know, compared to here is not that nice, but that's besides the point. It was lovely. It was an amazing experience. He also gave me tickets to go see Hamilton. Another bar guest gave us first class Delta tickets. Like, I had a life that was like, it was fucking cool. Like, I worked really hard for everything I had. I worked my from the ground up, you know, and I had a really great life. I looked good. I was always working out. I was like 215 a muscle. I was like fucking stacked, but not in like I'm better than you, but like a nice, like confident, humble. Nobody's humble when they say they're humble, but I really possessed humility because I remained teachable. And like, I was really proud of the person I was. And now I'm like desperately like hate myself and like self-loathing like all the time. And it's like, it's really hard. I wish I want to get clean so hard, so much, but like it's just not happening.
With fentanyl, it's incredibly hard, right?
Oh, just the opiates in general are incredibly hard. The crystal's hard too, but in an insidious way, because I don't seek that out. I never pay for that. Like,
what about something like Suboxone, something like that?
Suboxone, it helps. It's got me off it. It's worked. Last time I took it, I went through precipitated withdrawals and shot myself outside of a Walgreens, and the ambulance came and picked me up in the middle of probably like the day, like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's quite in my hometown, of course, of Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, it was the most humiliating moment of my life. Besides that time, the Suboxone were great. Anyways,
you have a sense of humor about it.
Yeah, that's my number one rule is like laugh. Like, I believe in like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and like I have different ideas of like God and spirituality. That's besides the point, but like laughter, humor is the number one thing for me. It's at the peak. Like, if you have to laugh at the end of the day. Like, I make everything a joke.
Helps keep you sane.
You see what I'm saying? You said
it helps keep you sane.
Oh, it helps keep me sane. Yeah, it helps keep things keeps my perception like it's a joke, dude. Like, we're living. It's a joke. We're all our egos are all so inflated. We're fucking nothing on top of nothing on top of we're nothing, and everybody's so full of themselves. Like, it's not. It's like I can have a hedonistic point of view where nothing matters, but I can also feel like. I like Sarah Silverman when she says like I can think like you assholes with all your $1,500 bags, but at the same time I think I want to be on money, like that same kind of like I don't want to be on money, but I think that sense of like the juxtaposition again of like the back and forth, like we mean nothing, but also like I want to make a difference in the world somehow. Yeah.
Do you have friends at this point?
At this point, no friends. I would say 3 friends, which is really kind of 2 or 3 friends, which is a really big deal in the streets here in LA. That's really surprising. I've been in the streets literally everywhere. So like I can name them. If you ask me, I'll tell you. I've been there, and I know people there. I haven't had friends anywhere. This is the first time where I've actually made like 3 decent people. Other than that, but clean Stephan. Fuck. I use my real name. I go by Steve on the streets, but Stephan's my real name. Clean Stephan. I have a million people who I don't answer their phone calls or respond to them that love me and that wish that I was like better and like that, like, you know. Yeah, I've like a load. I've like tons. There's tons. There's like tons and tons of people. And now I'm like the close, meaningful relationships. And now I have nobody because I ignore everybody all the time because I'm like so stuck in my fucking addiction.
Yeah. A lot of shame. A lot of.
Oh, yeah, a lot of shame. Yeah, a lot of self-loathing. Yeah, I beat myself up a lot.
You're staying in the street?
Yeah.
You're in a tent?
No. I don't even have a tent. I just try to stay up all night and wander and try to sleep in the morning. I try to sleep in the morning from 4 to noon when the train's open, so you can sleep and then until noon. So a good 8 hours of sleep. But on top of my things, so nobody steals from me. Because when I slept on the street, I got pepper sprayed and tried to rob, and it's not fun. So that's where I'm at right now.
And how do you support yourself right now?
I just started boosting, which I'm actually pretty good at. That hasn't lasted very long. Like, that just started. I've always been against that.
Just stealing and selling it to fences.
Yeah, exactly. There's a place here in LA that is like an abundance of that, and it's insane, and it's got to end soon because it's crazy. COVID's gonna end, and these idiots are gonna they're gonna get reality checked real quick because they're just living this life that's like it's insane the amount of theft that happens here. Like, God, if I'm saying I'm gonna get shot, somebody's gonna kill me because I said that. Just if that happens, it's your fault. Just to be clear. But yeah. Everybody's doing it. It's crazy. So now I've dipped my toe into it, and I'm pretty good, and it works. Like, I'm not still relying on my fucking unemployment money, which is all legit, believe it or not, because I've managed to have jobs in my life. But so that's is ending now, which reminds me, I got to file before too.
Which relationship was more important to you, your relationship with your mom or your dad?
Oh, they're equal in different ways. They got different things from different ones. Again, both very loving parents. My mom was bipolar 2. She was hypomania. We'd go through spurts of like, we need to move. We moved a lot. We always moved. We moved up and down 19 from Pinellas to Pasco, getting far and far, getting more and more white trash as we moved north. But in high school, I started riding horses. We bonded over that. I started riding horses. I was really good at that. That was a natural thing. We did really well. And then her using really tore us apart. And then whenever I relapsed, we had a brief moment of connection again. I got clean again. We tore us apart. And then my last 6 months she was alive, she got Hep C. This isn't fair for me to share. This isn't fair for me to share this because this is not but my sister gave my mom Hep C when they were sharing needles. I think I mentioned that. So that's actually what killed her. And you think I would have asked my mom, like, hey, how's your liver? When I was a nurse in nursing school. But I never asked her about it because we were all in denial that she had it. And my sister, who was living with me at the time, got cured. She got on Harvoni, got cured in a month. My dad went on interferon when I was in middle school because he had Hep C from some like blood transfusion back in the day. So everybody in my family has had Hep C except for my little sister. And now I too have it. After 2-year anniversary of her death, I realized I was told by a doctor that I had Hep C too, which I knowingly shared needles, and I didn't really care. That's how I got it. But yeah, so that's what ended up killing her. And I'm grateful for the last 6 months she was alive because we got so close again. I was able to like let down those walls and like realize she's the same person and she's not just this like junkie. Like she's still there. And yeah, like like the last day I saw her alive, like it was like beautiful. It was like, yeah, it was great. But I regret the years of like ignoring, like, of like not like, yeah. So that's that. But the last day I saw her alive was serendipitous. Like it was like such a joke of how perfect it was. It was great. I said everything I needed to say, and she said what she needed to say, and it was good.
It's nice you had that.
Yeah.
What do you think keeps you stuck? Is it the power of the addiction? Is it the self-sabotaging
The first
tendencies?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Is it? What do you think keeps you stuck?
Stuck now. The first time I got clean. First time I relapsed, and then I got clean again. I went to her and I stayed with her for one night, literally one night, and I would spend some time with her and connected with her, and then I left to go get it together. I talked on the phone with my dad. My dad's like, "Get your life together," da da da. I went and got my job back, whatever, this, that. Sorry about the ash. I managed to keep my life together, kept the boyfriend, fucking did it. This time around, I don't have anybody. I don't have a home to go to. I don't have a home to go. Just have somebody just take care of me just for a night. I literally just need a night of somebody telling yeah. Maybe it also could just be the drugs or that taking hold. I'm older now, so everything, I'm jaded. So it's hard for me to get back into the program because I'm jaded. I did it twice. I've worked it twice. So now I'm I hear people talk and I'm like, oh God. And the first time I was really enthusiastic. The second time around I was like, okay, I know I need to do this and it's good for me. And this time the people that I had that strong relationships with have all disowned me, or don't talk to me. And my old sponsor won't talk to me. And I feel alone, I feel alone all the time. So the drugs are the only thing that make me feel like I'm not alone.
What's your biggest regret?
Using that second time, right before I graduated nursing school, that was my biggest regret. I'd be on top of the world right now if I hadn't. The world is at my fingertips. The first time I relapsed, I was close to there and I was doing well. The second time, it was really, the world was really, really at my fingertips. Everything was right there, all my dreams were there, and I let them all go.
Do you think you're self-sabotaging?
Oh yes, I see everything's working out in my favor. Things almost become not too easy, but too
good.
Too good. Things are too good. I must find. I really feel like I've done a lot of work, but there must be something deeper that's I haven't. There's something that makes me feel like I don't deserve it because I self-sabotaged, everything was right there and I just let it all go.
I think we all do it to some extent.
Yeah.
But some of us, it just like
inner
takes the-
saboteur, as RuPaul would say. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. Did you still have contact with your family?
Oh, I talked to my sister a little bit. My little sister, not so much. She's doing great though. She invited me for Christmas, asked me to stay. My older sister just had a kid. I have a nephew who I've never met yet, but it makes me really happy.
Your dad is still around?
My dad is there. He's just retired. He's still around. He's always helped me as much as he ever could. He's never done much that makes a lot of money. He's worked as a head janitor basically for schools my entire life. So he's made a little bit of money, but done everything he could to help me my entire life. So he's still around, yes, but I just don't ever talk to him because I'm ashamed.
Yeah, it's a shame on your part, not.
Yeah, I'm ashamed of myself. Yeah. Because right when I was graduating nursing school, the look on his face, like that alone, that could make me cry again too. Because the pride that he had of seeing me walk across stage, that I did that a high school dropout, I have 2 associate degrees. I like to think that's a bachelor's, but it's not. I have 2 associate degrees, but I am an RN. Well, I was until July when my license expired. But yeah, the look of pride on his face, he was so proud, and he would always tell me how proud he was of me when I was doing well. And now it's like, son, I just want you, I don't want you to suffer anymore. He's great. I couldn't be luckier I couldn't have a better dad.
What would you say is the most important thing you've learned in your life?
The most important thing I learned in my life, humility, integrity, integrity, and take nothing personal. Yeah.
All right, Stephan. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.